I'm being paid about half of what I'm worth. All of us are, right? So when the company complains that this contract may double their labor costs, well, that's only because they've been cheating us out of half of what we were owed anyway.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
We got another UAW guest lined up. This one, Robert Soderstrom, a VW employee out in Chattanooga, where we are on the air on WGOW. You can find us on YouTube and check us out in if you would like to contribute to the conversation. You can participate in our YouTube chat if you are listening to us on WGOW. You can also call into the program later at 844-899-TVLR. That's 844-899-8857. Robert Soderstrom is a VW Volkswagen Chattanooga body shop employee. He is also a member of the UAW's Volunteer Organizing Committee. Robert, welcome to the Valley Labor Report.
Hey, how are you?
Robert, I'm doing great. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today. We're going to be talking about some of the latest news with Volkswagen in Chattanooga, but can you just talk to us about, I'm interested in kind of the feeling among folks on the shop floor since the election. Y'all recently unionized with the United Auto Workers by a 2 or 3 to 1 margin in the election. This was the third election that workers there have had, and this one finally they decided to unionize. And so, you know, I saw obviously the videos at the Union Hall and all those like really cool pictures. I mean, folks literally crying because they were so excited to be able to have won that huge battle and to begin to try to make things better inside Volkswagen. And so how has that feeling, has that feeling maintained since the election, or like what's going on, I guess, just generally? How are folks feeling about unionization?
Yeah. So that win was a long time coming, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The excitement that carried us for a while, but I mean, you can only sustain a high for so long, and you get back to your regular. And then we started talking about the contract process. We had some interesting meetings, electing our bargaining committee, that kind of thing, getting a little bit of a taste of what union life will be like down the road. But really, I think for most folks, other than the chatter of what this contract might bring, life has sort of gone back to normal. I mean, we're not a union yet officially. Technically we're part of the UAW, but we don't have a contract. So we don't have e-board. We don't have monthly meetings. We don't have representatives per se. So our day-to-day lives are no different now than they were before the election.
Right.
But there's optimism. There's hope now. We are going to get this contract.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's I can imagine that's definitely frustrating. And so it's a really important kind of task that is that's kind of laid at the feet of the UAW and the Volunteer Organizing Committee and the union supporters in the shop to make sure that frustration is channeled correctly at the company for not accepting a fair deal, because the company could obviously say like, yeah, we'll agree to do what the big three are doing right now, and that would be a huge increase in your standard of living, quality of life. They could do that at any time, right? And so making sure that to the extent that there is frustration with the kind of length of the bargaining process, that folks know that it's Volkswagen's fault, right? And so let's talk about negotiations. To the extent you can you remind us, it's been a couple of weeks now, but what was Volkswagen's latest offer, and how has the union responded to that?
Oh, the union said thanks, but no thanks. The last offer was it was kind of I don't know, it was an old trick. It was a conditional offer. Basically, they said we're laying all of our cards on the table. This is what we can give you, and this is what we can't give you. So you take all this stuff away, and we'll throw in a couple extra bucks. It was nonsense, and nobody really gave it any serious consideration. I mean, maybe there's a few folks, but I think our bargaining committee took all of 5 minutes to say this was not a good deal.
Right. And that was, I'm sure that particularly in the media, the way that I saw it framed was, oh, well, this is going to be a big wage increase. And so, I imagine there were some people, especially outside of the shop, who don't recognize kind of the other problems, even besides wages, that y'all are trying to bargain over and trying to fix. I could imagine that there's some people outside of the shop who are saying, well, why didn't you just take that big wage offer? But what were some of the things that they were trying to get the negotiating committee to take off of the table?
They wanted us. They wanted us to take off. I think PTO.
Yep.
We wanted more vacation time. We need more family time, and they said no, we can't do that. I don't remember the whole list. I think they wanted us to take away our right to strike over grievances. We're not going to do that. They let's see what else. Honestly, I don't remember. I wish I did. It was such a lousy offer. I looked at it and it went out of my mind. It wasn't good. But I can tell you the list of things they wanted us to withdraw far exceeded the list of things they were willing to give us, and it just wasn't great. I mean, I can give you an example. Is like with our medical insurance. If you had a family, I think over the course of 4 years, it would cost you somewhere around $45,000 if you needed to really utilize your medical insurance. And
wow.
Volkswagen was gracious enough to reduce that to $37,000.
Oh.
So, and what we're asking for is that a company that makes $20 billion in profit every year pay for our insurance. That's industry standard. Yep. That's not a big ask.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
It was just,
absolutely. No, and that makes sense that you didn't spend too much time trying to memorize all of the things, because I mean, just that one thing, right, is like, well, you can you can kind of forget what you're trying to do here, because that's crazy. And so I have the press release that the bargaining committee put out, but they said that we would have to give up the things that, remember, that just for the audience, when the UAW was formulating the bargaining issues that they were going to take to the Volkswagen, they surveyed the members, and so the members told the bargaining committee things that they wanted to be prioritized in bargaining. And so some of the things that Volkswagen was trying to get the bargaining committee to give up was, like you said, paid time off, bargaining over longer break times or more break times, an attendance bonus, and a shift premium, increased 401k contributions. They wanted to take that off the table, improving healthcare, like you said, and job security measures to protect you in the event of a layoff. That is a huge thing that, UAW members at the big three have protections against layoffs that people at Volkswagen have not had historically. And in the event that they are laid off, if you have enough seniority, you get income replacement for a certain period of time until you can get your job back, right? And so the idea that you would just say, no, we're not gonna negotiate over layoff protections is crazy, right? And so that's how, and it sounds like, people inside the plant, not just the negotiating committee. It sounds like the reaction from people inside the plant was largely, like, this is not a good offer.
No, they got a little bit fired up over that. We had a couple of interesting days of we had a real big red shirt Wednesday. We had one line go a little bit rogue and showed Volkswagen that we ain't playing. They all stood in solidarity and worked in their red shirts all day, and we was pretty happy to see that. So yeah, we did not accept that. Very happily.
Well, there you go. So that's really exciting to hear, and it's exciting to hear that they've been that you and your coworkers have been able to kind of withstand. Maybe there hasn't been pressure from the community. Has there been any pressure from the community or the media to try to make y'all look like the kind of bad guys or like greedy union people?
No, not at all. None that I've seen. The exception of maybe there's one county mayor that is pretty anti-union, and he likes to try to kick up dust here and there. But by and large, I mean, all of the community that I've talked to, they've all been adamant that they're right behind us. They want this for us. I mean, this is going to be good for everybody in the entire surrounding area. You know, we get a contract that drives our wages up. Just the fact that that contract exists is going to put upward pressure on every other company in the area to drive their wages up too. So it's good for everybody.
Absolutely. And so right now, I'm sure the biggest news in the plant is Volkswagen's recent announcement that they're going to be pursuing a workforce reduction as they shift the schedule from 3 shifts to 2. What was the union's response to that, and how are folks reacting on the shop floor?
Well, they filed charges almost immediately. They ain't having it. They're not okay with that at all. They've been. I mean, this is something that's been coming for a while. The UAW's known about it. Volkswagen all but told our bargainers that they would have done this before the election if they didn't think that it would drive us straight in the arms of the UAW, so they held off. Our bargainers were sitting down and negotiating in good faith with Volkswagen to make sure if in the event that they, and by the way, on more than one occasion, some of the high-ranking Volkswagen officials involved promised Chuck Browning, our lead negotiator, that nobody would lose their jobs over this. And shortly after they made those promises, they disappeared, got sent off to parts unknown. But now all of a sudden, Volkswagen is kind of cheating the system by offering this silly buyout that they're offering. It's unfortunate, but the UAW is not reacting well to this. They filed charges, and we're going to resist.
And folks on the shop floor sound like they're upset about this.
Yeah, but most of us. The thing is you know, Volkswagen is throwing around a chunk of money, and some people are going to take it. That's just the nature of the beast. I mean, times are hard right now, right, for everybody. So you can't blame anybody if, you know, somebody says, here's $30,000, take it or leave it. Some people are going to take it, you know, because this is how we are. But most of us know. Most of us are. We know that if we hold out, if we have faith, that we're going to get this contract, and it's going to be worth a whole lot more than some chump change that Volkswagen is throwing at people right now.
Yeah, a one-time payout. I mean, really, no matter how big it is, unless it's going to be enough for you to live off the rest of your life, right? A one-time payout is not going to be worth, in the end, a career and a union contract with just cause protections, with layoff protections, with higher wages, better health care, better retirement, all that good stuff. And so regarding both of these questions, the ongoing contract negotiations and the recent layoff announcements, which like you said, they're kind of trying to make it go down a little bit easier by, at least for now, you know, who knows what they're going to do in the future, but at least for now they're trying to make the layoffs to the extent that they execute them voluntary, quote unquote, by offering buyouts. But what is the next step for the UAW and the Volunteer Organizing Committee on both the layoff stuff and the ongoing contract negotiations?
Well, as far as the layoff stuff goes, I mean, right now it's a voluntary buyout, so there's not much for us to do other than talk to our fellows and let them know what we think and move on. I mean, if people are going to take it, they're going to take it. If not, they're not. As far as the bargaining process is, we just stay the course. Our bargaining team's doing an excellent job. We are bargaining for an initial first contract, which takes time no matter what. So, I mean, we haven't exceeded an enormous amount of unreasonable time here. So we're still looking good there. But I think for the VOC, we're getting to the point now where it's time to start engaging the community more to try to gin up support from the outside the plant to come and let Volkswagen know that they're on our side, and we're gonna get this contract, and the community wants them to bargain in good faith. And
right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, really excited to hear that. And just as we wrap up, you know, I was kind of surprised when I was on Jed and JR yesterday morning at some of the reaction from some of the listeners. I'm still kind of trying to get an idea, get a feel for the WGOW audience as we're new on the air there. But I was kind of surprised by some of the responses that were a little bit antagonistic, a big theme of it was basically like, well, they're the company. They should just get to do whatever they want to do. Why should the people who actually build the cars have a say? And so what is your response to people with that attitude, with the attitude that like, well, the company should just kind of be able to do whatever they want and walk over the workers if they feel like that's what they want to do? Why should workers get a say in the place that they work?
Right, sure. Well, because my labor belongs to me. It doesn't belong to the company, right? I'm selling it to them. And just like any of their third-party distributors, they have to negotiate prices because there's fundamentally no difference between the relationship between me and my fellows in Volkswagen and any other partner that it does business with, right? Even Volkswagen itself. I mean, if you break it down into language, it's more relatable to blue collar folks. Volkswagen makes essentially two piles of money, right? They make a pile of living wage money. They keep their lights on, the doors open, the utilities paid, all their expenses paid. They make that kind of money. But in addition to that, they make a pile of profit. Well, I'm selling my labor to the company, and for that labor, I should get to make enough money to cover my living wage, pay all my bills, my expenses, keep the lights on. But in addition to that, I'm also entitled to make a little bit of profit, right? And individually, I don't have a lot of leverage against the company. So the company's been able to use that to their advantage, so much so that I'm being paid about half of what I'm worth. All of us are, right? So, you know, when the company complains that this contract may double their labor costs, well, that's only because they've been cheating us out of half of what we were owed anyway, right? So, yeah, I should be able to negotiate my worth just like everybody else that Volkswagen does business with. It's no different.
Absolutely. Robert Soderstrom, really appreciate your time. Robert is a Volkswagen employee and a member of the UAW's Volunteer Organizing Committee at the plant there, making in the body shop. Robert, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. It was good. Thank you.
All right. Going to take a break, folks, and we will be right back with Boss Watch. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.